¿A qué sabe el respeto y a qué la libertad? We want peace. Si yo lo soñé, ellos demostraron que todos somos hermanos. Prendí la luz que habita en mí. I'm Joseph. I'm a singer-songwriter, a social entrepreneur, and I'm working at the Center for European Volunteering. Since 10 years ago, I'm working in the humanitarian and volunteering field, and I'm very grateful for that because I can do my passion. And today I start singing because, music has opened to me many doors. And these 3 songs I sang at the beginning were written in the framework of the next 3 stories I will tell you. So 3 stories, 3 lessons I have learned, and also 3 challenges. So, that's important for me. I want to make an exercise with all of you. So if it's possible, you just can go up 1 second like that, very quickly. We will take a deep breath together. Let's do it for a second time because everything is about listening, okay? So let's touch your chest and let's listen to that music. This, the heartbeat. Listen. Listen to yourself. You can take a seat. In music, listening to ourselves is very important. And I'm saying this because, I want you to imagine that inside of you, you have some fireflies at one side from your heart, that these fireflies have light, are your essence, your authentic, when you are serving to the others, when you are inspiring, when you are also inspired, and when you're humble enough to learn from the others, and to shine by yourself. I think that's very important. And so we need to take care of these fireflies. I will tell you why at the end. So the first story happened in Indonesia, and thank you so much for mentioning that. It was 2016. I remember we were just walking in a hospital. It was a girl from China, a volunteer from China, a nurse, and we were listening to these electrocardiograms, some people whispering, and then we saw a mother that was carrying her daughter of 5 years old. She was going out from chemotherapy. And with this volunteer, we decided to go and to throw a kupu-kupu. It's a butterfly in English. We did it, and she just stared at us, started laughing, smiling, and all the atmosphere changed. It was something so simple that gave a smile back to her mother and also to everybody in that room. I'm mentioning that because, sometimes these simple things like a drawing of a simple mariposa can change everything. So she asked us to decorate the full room with mariposas de muchos colores, colorful butterflies. And we did it, and it was very interesting, and all the atmosphere changed. Something so simple. Why Indonesia? Why 2016? So I was living in Mexico, and probably as some of you know, the public health system in Mexico is not that good. So when I was singing and doing volunteering for different groups, I had the opportunity to sing for different audiences. And some of them were families that were fighting against cancer. I listened to the stories. I was there because art is everything. And then when I saw the opportunity to go to volunteer to another country, different from Mexico, with something similar like this lack of health system, I did it with the intention to help, but also to have some ideas, to have some inspiration, to know how things work there. Imagine Mexico, Indonesia. I was in Bandung. So I went there with a multicultural group. We learned a lot working with different organizations. And when I came back to my city, I tried to make something. I started volunteering in Una Nueva Esperanza, that is an amazing NGO that is working with children with cancer. And after some years, they hired me to work as an institutional responsible of the development of the organization. It was incredible, and I started coordinating volunteers and working with the volunteers after being volunteer. So I'm very grateful for that. And the first lesson I have learned is that sometimes the answer is keep things simple. A simple drawing with some colors changed everything. But also that we need to listen to these internal fireflies because sometimes they know the answer. What do we have to do? Why do we have to do it? So, yeah, the second story I want to tell you is about an earthquake. 2017, Mexico, an earthquake happened and many houses were destroyed. Families were living in different tents, but also in the ruins of these houses. So I was in the university and a program came, Asua Construye. With some friends, we went that weekend to support, to build some houses, but listen to these numbers. 3 days, 7 houses, 28 professionals, and 70 volunteers. We tried to build these houses with these little boxes of, carton or plastic where you put the milk and the juice. So we did it. It was something about circular economy, but helping people, but understanding what was going on. And we built these houses. So as fun as it can sound, every time I can see this box, I can think that everything can be possible. And that the lesson is teamwork makes the dream work. If we have a group that share the common vision, everything can be possible, even building houses with this. It's important also to say that the third story is about the Global Shapers community. I've been part of this community and it's very interesting because we've been learning different things about volunteering. When volunteers involve another people to start volunteering. So when I was living in Barcelona, we prepared a project with a school and we invited people, youngsters, to reflect about the local issues on their communities. So we were volunteers supporting young people to start volunteering. And I remember that one guy of 12 years old, 13 years old came to me and told me, Joseph, I want to start volunteering this weekend because I didn't knew that this was going on in my neighborhood. This is something urgent. But I want to tell you that when I came back to my place after the lessons we had together, my parents listened and we will volunteer this weekend all together. And it was incredible. So yeah, these fireflies start twinkling and also with my colleagues because as I mentioned, we're never alone. This is a community, a teamwork. So yeah, that's important. After learning these things, some people, some mentors, colleagues taught me that volunteering has different definitions. But for me, volunteering is a life-changing experience. It's the best school for life. It's a complementary activity to your professional one. It's a global need, but it's also the best way to learn to see the full forest instead of just one tree. Volunteering is something urgent. I do believe that 2025 should be recognized as the year of the impact of volunteering. Because since 1983, European Commission selected some years to start discussions, for example, but volunteering can be a very interesting topic to talk about. We mentioned 3 challenges, right? So the first one that I invite you to think about and that we all need to do is that we need to recognize ourselves as part of the solutions, but also as part of the problem. We need to start recognizing what we need to do. The second thing is that we need to choose a cause, but also we need to define which date we will start doing things because we all want to change the world. But when and how? We need to design a plan and to start an actual date. And the third thing that I have learned is that if we are in charge of volunteers like tutors, coordinators, NGOs, it's very important to give to them the tools to make their best, to train them, to give them an insurance, to cover the expenses, to explain, to have the expectations. And I want to tell you also that volunteering will never be a substitution of paid staff. Volunteers are here to support. It's a supportive role that we all need to respect and that we need to dignify because they're sharing their talent and their time. So let's take care of all of them. So their fireflies can twinkle more. They can produce energy. They can be connected through light. And yeah, I'm saying 2025, European Year of the Impact of Volunteering, because the NGOs, the people that is working with volunteers, can have time to prepare an amazing year, not from an egocentric point of view, but it can be an option to start sharing these initiatives, stories that can invite people to join, to jump in, and to start making the change that we all need and that we all want. So I wrote a little part of a song when I was designing this youth talk for all of you, and I want you to think about it. And the fireflies you have inside of you will guide your path to make a change. That's what life's about. Muchas gracias.